Well, now that I finally announced my pregnancy over halfway through, there are a lot of questions and I'm going to answer some of those in this video, so stay tuned. Welcome back, my friends. My name is Sarah. I am known as Carnivore Yogi. Thank you so much for being here and clicking on today's video. Today, I'm going to talk to you about being pregnant at 42 years old. I'll be 43 this weekend and answer some of the questions that you guys sent in. Now, I announced this just a couple weeks ago. Here is a current photo. Actually, I took it last Friday at the 22-week mark. So this week on Friday, I'll be 23 weeks, and on Saturday of this week, June 11th, in case anyone wants to send me anything for my birthday, I'll be 43. And for my 43rd birthday, I'm actually going to put all my courses, webinars on sale using a birthday code that I send out to my newsletter subscribers. So if you want to get in on that, make sure you're subscribed to my newsletter down below so that I can send that discount code out in celebration of my birthday. But as I mentioned, a lot of questions about this. And yes, my content has changed dramatically over the last year, away so much from strict diet. Now, yes, I have very much kept a very nutrient-dense diet full of meat, egg yolks, wild seafood, organ meats, raw dairy. All of those things have been a very vital part of my preconception and conception journey. But there are a lot of other things that I have done as well. And like I mentioned, I have some questions here from you guys. I'm gonna go through them. So if the video kind of is a little choppy, it's because I've had to edit it from looking down at the questions and then coming back up to talk to you guys. One of the first questions I was asked actually was, do you take a vitamin D supplement during pregnancy or during preconception? Because vitamin D is actually extremely crucial for your health, for the health of the baby. The baby needs it to build bone, brain, all of these very vital functions the baby needs. So I actually have not taken a vitamin D3K2 supplement. If you're gonna take it, then that's the way I think you should take it. I have used a Sperity D vitamin lamp. Now I'll put that in the show notes, the one that I have used for you guys. I'll link anything I talk about down in the show notes for you guys. And the way that I have felt comfortable with that is that I have been testing my own vitamin D levels at home. This is the company I've used, Let's Get Checked. They are one of my sponsors, but if you're looking to keep check of your vitamin D levels, you can also check cholesterol, sexual health, hormones, so many great tests you can get with Let's Get Checked. You can use my link down in the show notes. My code YOGI30 will get you 30% off. And that's how I've kept up with those vitamin D levels. I did not take any supplements all winter. When I retested my vitamin D in March of this year, and I was already pregnant, I had gotten pregnant in mid-January was the conception date, and checked in March, my levels were a 60. Now here's the thing, I rechecked again because the baby does take so much vitamin D, and I hadn't really changed my amount of times I was using the Sperity D per week. I was using it about 3 times per week. My level went down when I checked it again in the beginning of May, about 5 points to a 55, which is still decent, but that kind of prompted me to use my lamp a little bit more. So I do believe it is safe to use a Sperity vitamin D lamp during pregnancy, and I use it in combination with my red light device. I use an EMR Tech red light device. I'll link that in the show notes for you guys. And I'll talk more about preconception and things that I think helped a little bit later in this video, but the red light that I used was actually a big help in preconception. And whenever I use my Sperity lamp, I'm using the red light in conjunction with it. So hopefully that answers that question. Someone wants to know if being carnivore has helped me to have an easier pregnancy. Now with my daughter, she will be 15 in December, so there's a little age gap. So it's been quite a bit of time, you guys. But I do distinctly remember with my daughter that I had nausea about 24 hours a day for the first 13 weeks. It was exactly about 13 weeks. And it was like 24 hours a day nausea. I would have to keep snacks on my bedside in order to be able to actually get up out of bed. So it's pretty severe. Now this one, I did have nausea, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next question, but I did have it and I did feel tired. I did feel like I don't want to do anything. I just want to rest and lay down. But the nausea wasn't as bad as it was with my daughter. I didn't ever have to like eat in the middle of the night. I never really had to keep food beside my bedside. I didn't have to do any of those things. I did have to eat a little bit more often. I used, I'm actually out of them right now, or I would show you one. I have some on order. The Carnivore bar, my friend Philip Meese, he's been on the show before. I called them my meat saltines, and my discount code there is Yogi. Now, not everyone's gonna like them. I have different taste buds because I have been eating a meat-based diet for so long. I don't really eat sugar. I don't really eat that stuff. So my taste buds are a little bit different. But those Carnivore bars, I'm telling you, they saved my life during that first trimester, because if I didn't eat ever so often, I would actually start feeling more nauseous and I would dry heave at times. So I did have to make sure that I kept food kind of in my system, which was a huge adjustment for me, going from someone that was usually eating 2 meals a day to having to eat several little small meals like spread throughout the day. So the nausea was better this time around. But not like it wasn't gone completely. And every pregnancy is a little bit differently. So it's hard for me to know, if Carnivore helped. I think it did. And I think it's made things easier now that I'm well into second trimester. I have tons of energy. I feel really good, but it's hard for me to say definitively yes or no on that one. Someone also wants to know, and I've kind of already answered this, did you find the need to snack when you're nauseous? And yes, I did. That was one of the things, and it was hard for me to kind of wrap my head around it, because like I said, I was a 1 or 2, usually a 2 meal. I didn't really do 1, but not eating that often kind of a person. I was so used to it that it was an adjustment, and it took me a few weeks before I was like, okay, this is just something I have to do right now. I'm just gonna have to have these Carnivore bars, break them up in half, have half one now, half of one in a couple hours. And that's just how I'm gonna have to do this for now. So snacking actually did help me with that first trimester nausea. And someone wants to know, do I understand or know why pregnancy creates nausea, why some people have it, why some people don't? Is this an evolutionary thing? There's so many different opinions on this. Some people say there's a health issue there. If you underlying health issue, the sicker you are, the worse your health is. I don't know how much of that I really truly buy into, because I've seen super, super healthy women have a really hard time with morning sickness. And I've actually seen some pretty unhealthy women have no morning sickness. And so, once you've kind of been around enough and seen a lot of this stuff, you can't really draw these definitive conclusions, even though there are people that have very strong opinions on this. And I still don't evolutionarily understand it, nor do I like it. But I know that the body in that first trimester is building the placenta. And so when that placenta is fully built, that is when a lot of that morning sickness starts going away, because the baby is able to survive more on the nutrients from the placenta rather than taking so much from you. So that's kind of why you get that better burst of energy in second trimester, a lot of people. Someone wants to know if I still have PCOS. I had resolved my PCOS a while ago. I haven't really dealt with PCOS in a few years. And that's through diet, through lifestyle, the circadian rhythms, all of that stuff helped tremendously. But when I went to the doctor, did not have PCOS. Last time they ran all the blood tests on me, and that was preconception, that they said, no, you don't have it. I'm sorry, my husband is in the kitchen making a bunch of noise. So hopefully it's not getting into the video, but I don't want to start all over again. So sorry about the background noise. Someone wants to know if my daughter is excited about having a baby brother. And yes, she's very excited. She has been asking for a sibling for a very long time. So I'm really excited to be able to get this to her. She's excited it's a boy and not a girl though, because she didn't want anyone to take her place, she said, which would be impossible to do. She's such an amazing child. No one could ever take her place, but she is very excited. Another question was, is the EMR tech, the red light device, a good substitute for morning sunlight? And the answer to that is no. This person is also having really bad morning sickness. And I'll be honest with you guys, there were days that I was just not feeling that well. I did miss sunrise. I was more out there for UVA light. Now that I am feeling much better, I am out there every morning walking during sunrise, and it makes such a huge difference on my appetite, on my mood, on my entire day. You do get the highest concentration of red light during sunrise. Yes, you do. But using a device is not going to be a substitution, because that light needs to enter your eyes and activate the go to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is attached to the hypothalamus, to give your body a lot of really important signals. So just using a device is not going to give your body those signals. But if you're just really feeling terrible, give yourself some grace. This time period is going to pass, I promise you. And I had some, like I said, I had some days that I missed sunrise, unfortunately, because I just was feeling exhausted. I didn't feel good, but it did pass. Someone wants to know if I will have a doula. Yes, I have hired a doula, paid for a doula. I'm going to be trying to do everything as naturally as possible. I did an unmedicated birth with my daughter, but that was 14 years ago, and I did it without a doula, but I have this time hired a doula. Another question is someone in the first trimester with high blood sugar, and they want to know advice. They're wearing a CGM. First of all, unless you have diabetes, I wouldn't wear CGM, because I feel like that's going to stress you out even more. During first trimester, you just honestly have to do your best. Do your best to get the nutrients into your body. Do your best to get rest. Know that it's going to even out. Know that it's going to get better after that placenta is built. You know, your body is going to feel a lot better. Blood sugar will probably regulate a lot more. But it is a stressful thing during first trimester, because your body is doing so much to build this human being. And so my advice would be, give yourself grace. Try to, do as much as you can to get the circadian rhythms intact. Go outside. Make sure you drink a good quality spring water, get rest. And again, try to get as many nutrients as you can into your body, because I know that can be a challenge. Two more questions here. One of them is about probiotics. I'm going to do a full video about supplements that I quit taking, supplements that I am taking. It's very few things, but I have continued to use the Ombre, this guy right here, this probiotic. I will link it in the show notes for you guys. I was conflicted on whether or not I wanted to keep using probiotics, because I didn't know if I necessarily needed them, but the baby is going to get my microbiome. So I figure it's not really going to hurt anything, but I am using those Ombre Labs probiotics that are based on my gut health sample. And the last question is, what do I attribute the most to getting pregnant at 40? She says 43. I'll be 43 Saturday. So I was actually got pregnant at 42. She's 33 and having trouble getting pregnant. And I'm going to do a separate video to kind of talk about this in more depth, because I will be talking for another 10 or 15 minutes. And I want to cut this video so people will actually watch it. But really, taking care of my mitochondrial health is number one. Diet's a part of that, but also lifestyle's a huge part of that. I had to just change my lifestyle completely. Getting my circadian rhythms in check was number one for me on that list. That is the first thing that I did. And then I had to go through my life and make a bunch of other changes, mitigate non-native EMF. I did 4 months of deuterium depleted water. I did red light therapy on my abdomen 4 or 5 days a week with my EMR tech device. I did cold plunging. That was actually something that I think was maybe more of the magic pill that helped me to get pregnant when everything else I was kind of throwing at it wasn't helping. The cold plunging really helped, but there's a nuanced way to do that. So I will try to do a full separate video to talk more about that in the next few weeks here. So stay tuned. And I hope this was helpful. That's I think all the questions that I was asked here about this, and I'm open to doing more videos down the road, but we're already dragging this video out super long, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.